Welcome to the Six Figure Business Mastery Podcast, where every week, Kirsten and Jeanne dive into the essential topics to fuel your business growth. From copywriting to course creation, mindset to video marketing, they've got you covered. Tune in for expert guest interviews on all things marketing and business, and learn how to work on your business, not just in it. So, get ready to unlock your business potential and take it to the next level.
Welcome to today's podcast. We are excited to have a celebrity here with us. His name is Mike Perlow. He's the president and founder of Perlow Productions, which is a corporate video production, animation, and live stream company. But he spent 17 years as a TV sportscaster at network affiliates and regional sports station in Vermont, Florida, Boston, and New Jersey and Philadelphia. He was also an anchor and reporter for New England Sports Network. So, Mike, it's lovely to have you. Thank you for joining us today.
Great to be here and great to join you both.
Well, we're really excited about this conversation because I think you're like us. You're crazy passionate about video marketing. And it's always nice to get other people's perspectives. And you're very lucky because you're confident on camera because you had a career. And so a lot of people, a lot of business owners have not had that background, so they're more nervous about video. So I'm looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are about video and businesses.
Absolutely. And it's actually something when we work with clients, to your point, where are speaking on camera or even being interviewed, just speaking to them about, relax. If we're interviewing you, the analogy I always use is pretend you're talking to me about your last vacation. Like you don't need to prepare every comment or remark. Just speak like you would if we were having a conversation, whether it was a great vacation or an awful vacation. Just I said, hey, tell me about your vacation. You wouldn't have to really think and prepare remarks. And that usually helps put them a little bit more at ease.
Tell us a little bit about the type of video content you help your clients with.
Sure. I mean, we work with a wide range of clients here at Perlow Productions, from small businesses to larger regional, national, international companies. We really believe in helping businesses, small and large, create video content that helps with largely their sales and marketing strategy. Also, more and more for employee recruiting, because every business is struggling to hire great employees these days. So more and more companies are coming to Perlow Productions asking us to help them create employee recruiting videos that speak about, not just why it's great to work in their industry, but why it's more specifically great to work for that company and what they bring to the table in terms of employee experience, employee benefits, onboarding, all of those things. But in general, we're creating videos, both live action with interviews and footage, also a lot of animated videos that are helping businesses tell their story of what they offer, their products, their services, their expertise. We're very good with businesses that are somewhat technical or hard to understand what they offer, and sometimes not even that visually exciting. So it might be manufacturing or some kind of technical device or product, real estate or finance or legal, where there's complex information that they don't want to overwhelm their customers, potential customers with. So we create animated explainer videos that help tell that in a more fun, engaging way and more visually appealing way, and also kind of simplify that information into a way that anybody could understand without having to watch the video 4 times or ask the person, hey, explain to me again what you do. What is that exactly? Why do I need that? Because if your customer is already asking you questions about they don't understand what you do or why they need what you do, when you've already given them that initial pitch, there's a problem there. So that's where, animated explainer videos, both technical and fun and cartoony, come into play. So, at the end of the day, we're creating, powerful assets that businesses are using to get more business. Because after all, I think that's what we all want.
Do you start off with a strategy? Is that how you start working with your clients? You figure out the strategy for the content you're going to help them create?
Well, absolutely. And I will say that is one of the big things. I always say, there's a place for homemade video and do-it-yourself video. No doubt. A lot of our clients do it. The difference between doing videos yourself and coming to a professional production company like ours is that strategy piece on top of obviously the higher production value, but even forgetting about the production value for a minute, focusing on the strategy of how is that video put together, really digging deep into who your target audience is, not just men, women, older, younger, but really narrowing that target audience of who you want to go after and what makes that audience unique, and how we speak to that audience without saying we want, men aged 25 to 40 or, whatever, right? Or we want teenagers who are looking to college, really narrowing on that audience and making sure that video is speaking directly or indirectly to that audience. And it's not just what it says, but the way it's said and the way it's portrayed visually within a video. So the strategy around the target audience, around the message you want to get out there. My favorite question to a potential client is, what does this video need to show and tell? We're playing the old game, show and tell, right? What do you want to show the customer in the video? And what do you want to tell them? What do they need to know? It's a simple, but a complex question and answer, right? And sometimes people kind of know what they want to tell, but they don't really know what they want to show. And then the biggest question is that I find most people, businesses, marketers fail at when they're creating content is they try to answer why you need what they do. So, a video production company, we do videos about the power of video in sales and marketing, why you need video. That's wonderful. That's great. That's helpful. But I'm also indirectly doing sales for all of our competition, every other video production company and freelance video producer out there. Because I'm just saying, hey, you need video. You need high quality video. The key to the really successful videos is videos that answer. So in our case, why, when you need high quality video, you should work with Perlow Productions, or why, when you need medical care in this area, you should go to Dr. X, or why, when you are approaching a divorce, you should work with this family law attorney instead of just a family law attorney in general. Whatever the subject is, really speaking in the video to why you should work with this company or person when you need what they do. And speaking to customer service, we're responsive, we price fairly, anybody can say. And that's actually the test question I use with our clients is when they say a reason, I say, well, can your competition say that? But they don't. Well, that's fine, but they can say it. So coming up with things that you can say about your business or yourself that your competition can't legitimately say, or maybe they can, but positioning it in a different way.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, with Jeanne and I, we're not a marketing agency, and we're not an outsourcing agency. We're starting to explain that a lot more, that we coach our clients on their marketing strategy, and then we train virtual assistants to do a lot of that work for them. So it's been interesting, just like you're talking about, why work with us? Well, one, because we're not marking up the labor. So you're paying your virtual assistant directly. They're part of your team. When you go to an agency, that virtual assistant works for that agency. Right. And if you go to a marketing agency, which a lot of people, we do refer people to marketing agencies because they may not be right for the strategies that we teach. But if you go to a marketing agency, it's a little bit different because they're doing everything for you, and it can be a little bit more expensive, where we give you a strategy you can implement. So it is interesting, like finding words. I love that, finding words that your competitors cannot use or say that differentiate you.
And another thing I suggest to clients, and some do, some don't, I tell them literally, pick up a phone and call your clients and say, hey, Kirsten, I know, you hired Perlow Productions 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever. I'm sure you looked at other companies. What was it that made you choose us? And give me, please, brutally honest answers. Not, oh, you had a nice portfolio. Was it our pricing? Was it that we worked with another business you knew, or another business who was your competition? What was it that made you choose us? Even if it is, we were the cheapest around. I don't care what it is. Hey, those answers are so valuable if you can get them from your clients. And unfortunately, you're not going to get them by sending an email, because
Right.
Nobody's going to put that in an email. Or a few people will.
I think people don't realize that doing market research is something that's always ongoing, because economies things, and the reason why people might have hired you 2 years ago may not be the same reasons they're hiring you now.
Absolutely.
Because they shift around us, what they see as value is sometimes different than what it was 2 or 3 years ago. So I think I love that, reaching out to your customers and finding out why they use it. It's interesting because I feel like as business owners, sometimes we're so close to what we do that we can't get out of our own heads.
Absolutely.
And it's really funny because I'm on a lot of podcast interviews, and it was a couple of times I started explaining that we weren't an agency, and we'd never explained that in our marketing before until I said it 2 or 3 times in an interview. Sometimes we forget how to put things in perspective of our client and to get, and to differentiate ourselves.
And it's funny because I still, to this day, and Perlow Productions has been in business 17 years now, I still will talk with people that know we're a video production company and they know we do videography. And they will ask me, Mike, do you guys do video editing as well? And that to me is like asking a restaurant, okay, we know you make food, but you actually serve it to customers.
Right. Yeah.
Of course we do video editing, but it's obvious to me,
Right.
and maybe obvious to the two of you, but it's not obvious to everybody because they don't work in our world. And so to me, sometimes really simplifying, whether it's when you're speaking or in a video, what you do in a very basic way, even though you feel like it's so silly, and sometimes be the clearest way to explain what you do, because we work with a lot of tech clients, and some of them are technological geniuses, but they can't put a sentence together to explain what they do to the common person. I had a conversation with somebody recently in the cybersecurity space. He had developed this software. We went back and forth 6 times when I just kept saying to him, can you explain to me on a really basic level what this is, what it does, and why I need it? And I kind of understood after about 20 minutes, but that's way too long, right? So we're actually working with him on trying to create a video, an animated explainer video that will, in a simple way, because his brain doesn't think there, right? He's this developing genius. I mean, to him, the terminology he uses is basic, but it's not to most people. And I feel like I'm a fairly educated person. If I don't quickly get what you do, most people probably aren't going to. And that's kind of my litmus test.
Yeah. And we love the idea of, talking to people, versus texting or emailing. You know, it's a totally different thing. And to your point and Kirsten's point is that sometimes they'll say things and they'll give you the terminology that they understand, that the challenges that they're having in their words, which then, you know, oh, okay, we need to, you know, add this into our marketing and how we're talking to them, because that's what they understand and that's what they're, you know, they need help with.
Absolutely. And I will say, you know, knowing that so many of your podcast viewers are small business owners, you know, there's always that fine line when it comes to creating sales and marketing content, when it comes to video, of what you can afford as a small business, you know, doing something just for the sake of video. My advice to small business owners, as one myself, is don't do something just for the sake of doing it if you can't afford to do it right. And that doesn't mean you need to put tens of thousands of dollars into every video. I'm just saying that, like, I see a lot of video out there with small and larger businesses where they do it just for the sake of doing video, and there's a million cheap options out there, right? So just make sure that what you're creating represents your business in a way you'd be proud of, right? You know, using the restaurant analogy, would you be okay with dirty tablecloths and linens on the table and cracked glasses? They're cheaper. You could afford them that way, right? But why would you ever put those on the table at your restaurant, right? You know, thinking the same way is whatever we're using to represent our company. Like the two of you have that lovely sign behind you, right? I'm sure that's intentional, right? Because it makes people smile. It tells us a little about the two of you. And if it said, you know, something obnoxious and rude, we'd be like, what were you thinking when you put that sign behind you? So to me, like, it's important that small businesses think about, how can we do this well? And if you can't afford to do it well, even if you're putting up a new sign, right? You're putting up a new sign in front of your business. If you can only afford to do it through some cheap option that you know isn't going to look good, that doesn't reflect well on you. So, you know, think about that and maybe wait. I mean, I make the same decisions in my business. There are things we often want to do, and I always say, if we can't afford to do it well and do it right, we'd rather wait till we can. And so that's my biggest advice. It's not that small business owners have to spend. We're not an inexpensive video production company, and we're not a fit for every small business. And we're not the only solution. I see lots of people go find very inexpensive options for their main marketing collateral, and it doesn't reflect well on their company or their business. And that, you know, to me, that doesn't help, you know, if you make that same kind of decision in any way, making sure that who you're working with is delivering quality assets for you to use that represent your business well.
Well, I think it's also important not just to know who your ideal client is, but also to understand the platform that you're posting content on.
Absolutely.
The varying scales of what they want. Really overproduced content doesn't always perform well on YouTube, right? So they want kind of more of they want to feel like they get to know, like, and trust you. That's what kind of plays so well on YouTube. Instagram, they want more beautiful. They want it to be gorgeous, very awesome. So, and I think if you're running ads or your website, you should definitely have a higher end quality of video.
Funny you use the words overproduced, because I actually hear that a lot, and it's an interesting subject to discuss, because overproduced can mean a lot of things, right? So for me, when we produce videos for a business, small or large, that involves interviews with usually the head of the company or key employees, key team members, we don't script all. So some people will produce videos and script everything. So to me, that's a great example of overproduced, when you're literally scripting everything the person says. We do what we call conversational interviews. With my TV reporting background, I'm very good at sitting down and just having it, like I was mentioning before, the example of asking about your vacation, right? So I will say to an owner, whoever we're interviewing, give me 3 or 4 topics you want to discuss, potentially using this video, in bullet points. I don't need paragraphs, just give me some bullet points. And I will just sit them down and ask very conversational questions, you know, so tell me about this, and I'll ask some follow-up questions, and it gets very organic answers from them. So that to me is an area where it's produced well, it's shot well, it's lit well. We're using a professional microphone. We're not using the shotgun microphone on the camera, okay? So it's produced at a high level, but it has a much more real, organic feeling. And I would agree. I mean, listen, if you're a local restaurant and your video looks like, you know, your Michelin level restaurant in Napa Valley, California, that probably isn't a good fit. But part of it too is who you're appealing to. McDonald's commercials are extremely highly produced, okay? They're selling a lower cost item. So I think it's less about level of production and more about producing content that speaks to your audience. And even on social media, I mean, I think there is a place for truly organic content, just, you know, captured on your own and produced on your own. I think the question to ask, though, is when you do that, is it good content just because you happen to capture it? Or is it good content because it's actually good content? And I think sometimes people think, oh, I got that. Oh, we got to use that. Well, if you step back and watch it, did anything really happen in that video? and that clip that you captured, that means anything to your customers? And I think more often than not, the answer is no. So, finding content that actually will matter to your customers, that they'll want to see, that will tell them something about your business or your offering. I don't think anybody needs to see footage of the cashier ringing up somebody's service order. But if you get a neat moment where a customer comes back to his car after it's been repaired and says, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe my baby looks this good. She hasn't looked this good in 10 years. That's wonderful, right? Because that tells us, A, indirectly, our service department is awesome. And B, we had a really happy customer whose car hasn't looked that good in years. So again, thinking about what is that content you're capturing versus just recording video for the sake of video and then throwing it up on social media and hoping it's going to go viral.
It can go viral, but if it's not talking to your ideal clients, who cares? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but you'd rather have less eyes on it, but have the right eyes on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, viral video is fantastic, but sometimes people will call us and say, we're looking to create a viral video. And I will tell them, you could name the greatest performers in the history of the industry of music. None of them thought their greatest hits were going to be hits, right? They don't know until it goes out to the world and you see what happens. If you work with somebody out there to produce content of any kind, that says we will create content that is going to go viral for you, run.
Right.
And run quickly, because they are lying. If somebody had that spell, they'd be making insane amounts of money, and we'd all know about it. You can be creative and create something you hope will go viral. The video we created several years ago that I would say is the closest to going viral, an original animated character for a credit union that was looking to appeal that younger, like 18 to 25 demographic. And they wanted something a little edgy. Originally, it was going to be more of a standard promotional video. And we pitched them on creating an original animated character, which was a squirrel. And the tagline in the video, which was said several times, was "Protect your nuts." And it was just the right amount of edgy. And it was hilarious. And I will tell you, to this day, I still have people that when I show them that, they say, "Oh my goodness, Perlow Productions created that." And we did several other videos after that where Cash spoke more in the video. But the point is, I'd say that is as closest thing viral, because I hear from people all over the place that they've seen it, love it, right? Our goal as a video production company isn't to create viral content, to your point. It's to create content that, I guess you could say, viral in potential customers' minds, of connecting with them and resonating with them and making them feel, once they've watched the video, wow, this is A, something I need, and B, this is a company I want to work with. But I will tell you, we look at the metrics of the videos we've produced for clients over the years. I'm amazed at how many videos that are anywhere from 2 to 5 to 7, 8 minutes long. In some cases, we have 20 to 25% of the audience still watching at the end of the video. The length is less relevant if the video is well produced, because if you create a 30-second video, if you lose them at the beginning, they're not getting to the 10-second or 20-second mark, never mind the 2-minute mark. So to me, if you don't produce videos that are engaging and keep the viewer's attention, the length is irrelevant. And if you do, they'll watch for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes if it's really that engaging. And maybe they won't always watch the whole 4 or 5 minutes, but if it's engaging, if it's well produced, if it speaks to them, they will absolutely watch most, if not all, of the video, regardless of length. That's been my experience, and because I get a lot of pushback and people say, "No, we just need really short videos. Nobody's going to watch a 1-minute video." And that's insane. People watch videos that are much longer than 1 minute when they care about it.
It always goes back to, if you're talking to someone that has that problem, right? Because I know if I'm searching for something and I have a problem, I might watch multiple videos on it, right?
Absolutely.
And people do research all the time. So as a business owner, if you're creating content that's specifically speaking to them about how you can solve their problem and why they should work with you, and they have that problem at that time, they'll watch 10, 15, 20-minute videos. I love Gary Vaynerchuk says short-term content is where people often find you, where long-form content is what converts. So what other, so we've got strategy, length of videos, making sure that you're talking about why they should use you and being different than your competitor. Any last wise words of wisdom?
Well, this goes more to your overall web presence, right? To me, if you go to somebody's website and you're a first-time visitor, I will say there are many times I go to company websites and 30 seconds in, I'm still not quite sure exactly what they do. Blame it a little on design, but it's less of a design issue and more of a messaging issue. So whether it's having a short video or imagery or text content, if people come to your website and don't quickly know what you do, any of those means that's a problem. Just because you know what you do doesn't mean they do. So even showing your homepage to some people that don't know you as well, and just say, "Hey, just look at the homepage. Can you tell me what we do?" It's an interesting stuff. I'll tell you, we were guilty of that in our previous website where it said Perlow Productions. We just kind of assumed you'd know we're a video production company, right? And so we literally have the words, video production agency, animation agency, like all this. So if you don't know what we do when you're on our homepage, you go to perlowproductions.com, you don't know what we do, you probably just don't know what we do. But there's no way you're getting to that homepage and not understand, at least at a basic level. So I think just making sure, don't make it hard for potential customers to understand what you do. And by the way, the other thing is, whether it's a video or other key content on your website, make it stupid easy for people to find it and see it. Unfortunately, sometimes web developers will take the video. It's not a high priority necessarily. Often it's added development of the website. And so they just kind of fit it in wherever they can. I tell businesses, if I have to work hard to find the video on your website, that's a problem, because when I come to your website, that's the first thing I'm looking for. And if I can't find it easily, when that's the only thing, I'm not even a customer. I'm just coming to see if you have a video. And if I can't find it easily, your potential customer is unlikely to find it easily. It's happening with a potential client a few years ago. I went on his homepage, went into some internal pages, couldn't find a video anywhere. So I emailed him and I said, hey, want to see if you could use our help, Perlow Productions. I see you don't have any videos on your website. And he emailed me back and he said, well, you clearly didn't look very hard because it's right there on our homepage. I went back to the homepage and I realized it was there, but the play button was so hidden within the design of the page that I didn't even see it until like looking 3 more times. So I emailed them back and I said, hey, I actually did look. That was what I was looking for. And my advice is have that play button redesigned, because as somebody who was just looking for your video, it went right past. And again, like, you don't want people to have to work that hard to find your video. I mean, if you've gone to the time, effort, and expense of creating a video, get it in front of people and your website in general. So that's kind of my long-winded answer of make the most of all of your sales and marketing assets and make it easy for customers to find you and to find them when they come to your website or your social media page. Don't hide, if you have videos on social media, if people come to your social media page for the first time, that content should be front and center. They shouldn't have to search through another tab or search video about our manufacturing process. Like, those should be front and center. You can pin posts, make sure that people are going to be hit in the face with those when they first come to learn more about you.
Yeah, this is great, Mike. Thank you so much for being here with us. Tell people how they can reach out to you.
Sure. We'd love to hear from any of your podcast viewers and listeners. Our website is perlowproductions.com, Perlow productions with an S at the end.com. You can email me, mike@perlowproductions.com. You can even always happy to take a phone call, 856-669-1669. And if you search Perlow Productions on every social media platform other than like Snapchat, we're there. Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X. So we're all over. I would say that the platforms we're the most active on are Facebook and LinkedIn, but also Instagram and TikTok and the others. Reach out to us. Even if you're not looking to do a video, always happy to give advice, suggestions, review what you've done. If you have a video, happy to give a look at it. I always caution people, though, I would rip apart a Super Bowl commercial. So that's my caveat. Okay. But no, in all seriousness, like, always happy to give a perspective. I'm not going to say, oh, because you didn't work with Perlow Productions, your video isn't good. I'm going to look at your video. I'm going to say, hey, this is actually well done, or this is well done. Here are some ways I might have done it differently, or that you could improve it next time. Or, if you haven't done videos, here's where I would start. You can't do everything all at once. So, always happy to just give advice and suggestions on a good place to start when you're trying to work video into your overall strategy. And if you're not, you are literally missing out on potential customers.
We'll put all of that information in the show notes. And again, Kirsten and Jeanne here with Six Figure Business Coaching. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for listening to the Six Figure Business Mastery Podcast. If you enjoyed listening to this episode and you are ready to leverage video marketing on all online platforms, or maybe even start your own video podcast, then you need to check out the Done For You and Done With You program at themarketingvaadvantage.com and take your business to the next level.